Hi, I'm Zurina, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a really beautiful, really simple stretch bracelet. These are one of my favorite things to make. They're really super simple and they're gorgeous. They go with just about everything. They look great alone. They look really beautiful stacked with other pieces. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make. So you're going to need a few things. First, you're going to need some beads. These are a type of quartz, and I have an accent bead here. This one has a little bit of a larger hole. It's where we're going to hide the knot. And I have some stretchy cord. This is 7mm. There's 5 and 1mm, but these beads have a little bit of a smaller hole. So you want to make sure to have the proper size for the materials that you're using. Also, of course, I've got some scissors. And for finishing it, I have some glue that we're going to use on the knot. So first thing you want to do is measure your wrist. If this is going to be for yourself, that's super easy. If it's going to be for someone else, you want to get their measurements first. This one I'm just making for me. So there's a few ways to do it. You can simply take a measuring tape and wrap it around your wrist, and you want to leave a little bit of slack. It looks like, for me, I have a pretty small wrist, so I can probably do 6.5 or 7. And that's pretty normal. You can also use your strand. If your beads are in a strand, you can test it out this way. And you can wrap it around and just kind of give yourself a little bit of an estimate, of how much you're going to need. It looks like that's going to be too big. I mean, I like to leave a little bit of slack so we can, okay, so I'm going to measure this now. Something else that's helpful for this, I have a little paper clip, and that will help you save your place. It's not the best, but here it is. And then I can measure this, or you can also count the beads. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8. So 28 beads for me. Let's just do a quick measurement. I'm adding in my accent bead too. And if you're a little off, it's fine, because you can always take it off before you finish. So I'm just gonna give it a little extra. It's better to have a little bit more than a little bit less. And I'm also measuring in inches. So it looks like 7 inches. That's standard. I forget what the measuring system is called. Not metric. In metric, it looks like 17.5 centimeters. So I'm gonna get a pen really quick so I can write these things down. Yeah, a book. So I decided about 7 inches for me, which was about 29 beads, and about 17.5 centimeters. Little known fact, probably, I got really good at conversions when I was taking chemistry in college a long time ago. And so 1 inch is 2.57 centimeters. Little random fact for you. All right, so now that I have all that stuff written down, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to cut strand and lay out my beads. So I have this also really cool little bead board. You can kind of see it has little channels in it. Sometimes they have them that are set up for necklaces and they have U-shaped channels. That's pretty cool. This one, it's really well made. I don't remember where I got it, but it's really great for just laying things out straight and things don't fly all over the place. You can also use something called a bead mat. It's this sort of foamy textured thing that like if your beads fall off on it, they don't fly all over the place. So it's much better to have something like this instead of working on a really hard surface, because if your beads fall, they kind of fly all over the place. If you don't have these, they're kind of specialty items. You can get them at a craft store. You can get them online. If you don't have anything like this, like a washcloth or a small towel will do about the same thing. So, all right. So I've cut my line, taking my beads off, kind of putting this off to the side, and I am going to tie a knot, one that I can undo really easily later. There we go. If you know how to crochet, this is like the first kind of knot that you do when you're doing crochet. So that way, when you want to undo it, you just pull this and it comes right out. So just do this, lay that down, and we're gonna get started. So I want the end result to be 7 inches, and this is way more than 7 inches, but it'll be good because it'll give me some slack, and then I can cut it to size at the end. So now we're just gonna bead. Okay, so now we're ready to put on the last bead. Like I said before, it has a slightly larger hole, and that's how we're gonna hide the knot. So you can put it on last. You could also put it on first too. It doesn't really matter, just as long as it's at the ends where you tie. So there we go. And before I tie it off, I am just gonna check the fit. So, and you can kind of do that by like twisting it around like that. This looks pretty good. I like it. It has a little bit of give. It's not going to be too tight. I think it'll be perfect. So we're ready to tie. Okay. The better you get it, the more experience you have. You can leave a little less slack for your knots, but for now, let's just leave ourselves a lot. It makes it a little easier for us. And so you just want to do like a simple under and over knot. You do a second one. And this is when you start to like pull it really hard. You can see kind of how much this stuff is stretching. And I always do 2 knots isn't quite enough. A third knot is going to be a really good finish. And you can see the knot right there. And so just make sure there's no like empty spots. It's good and tight. Now we're just gonna go ahead and glue it. I have something called GS Hypo Cement. This is a very basic like hobby beading jewelry glue that can be used. It has this really handy little sharp point to it, so you can do a lot of sort of precision gluing, and it's really helpful to have. This is kind of an older one, as you can see. It's not totally possible. Okay, so a little tiny bit of glue is coming out. I don't know if you can see it. It's not really coming into focus up there, but you don't need a gigantic glob. You just need enough to cover the knots. And the way that I get at the knot is I stretch it out like this and pull it like this. And that way it stays kind of far away from everything. And I get the glue in the knots as good as possible. It's gonna maybe have a little bit more. See how it's like that little point, it's great. Okay. And so we're just gonna hold on to this for maybe about a minute or so. That way we know it's like dry. You want it to be at least a little tacky before you put it in, before you really hide it. If it's not, then it could stick to your main beads and just be a little harder to hide. So you just want to make sure that it's tacky so it just doesn't smear all over the place and sort of ruin your finish a little bit. So in the meantime, so I have a lot more glue on here now. Maybe I'll just add a little bit more. Okay, I'm adding a little extra time to this. Have a paper towel with you, because this is definitely going to happen if you have one of these things. But when you close it back up, when we're done kind of waiting for this to get a little tackier, the lid, it has this pin, and so just wipe it off and then put the pin in it and your glue won't all turn hard. So you can kind of check it. Okay, it's tacky enough now, it's sort of holding its shape. I am gonna go ahead and cut the ends as close to the knot as possible. And now we're just gonna pull it through. So here it is. It's pulled through, and so it's totally hidden now. And we're finished. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. This is my first video, so if you have any suggestions or issues or problems or anything that you need me to know about, or if you like the video, please comment below. And if you decided to make a bracelet using this tutorial, that is amazing. I'm so excited, and I'm really happy to see what you made. If you could post it in the comments, I would love to see it. Yeah, I guess that's about it. I plan on making more, so until next time, ciao!